Welcome to Blind Level Tech. This isn't just accessible tech talk. This is technology on a whole new level. We're showing you just how possible it is to live the life you want.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blind Level Tech. I am your host, Evan Starnes, and we will be kind of taking a little bit of a pause from the mini series on the National Library Service, as I am still looking for somebody from the Colorado Talking Book Library to bring on the show. So we'll be taking a break from that this week. But today on BLT, we have a very special guest from the WayAround company. And she's actually been instrumental with the International Association of Audio Information Services, basically all of the organizations like AfterSight around the country. She's been very much involved in our accessibility. We've started an accessibility committee, and she's been involved in that quite a bit. And yeah, so today we have Neva Fairchild. Neva, that's the interesting part. It's like Evan, but the letters have been kind of swapped around. But yeah, Neva, welcome to Blind Level Tech. Happy Friday.
Thank you. We are anagrams to each other, are we not?
I think so. That's actually how I'm going to say it from now on. We're anagrams. Anagram name. Indeed. Well, yeah, welcome to the show. How's your Friday treating you so far?
Yeah, it's been a great Friday. The weather is lovely here in Texas. It's not hot yet, which is just amazing. Mm-hmm. And I had a great webinar to attend this morning on mental health and blindness and vision loss. It was fascinating.
Absolutely.
So I've had a great day so far, and I've been looking forward to recording with you today.
Indeed. Well, let's start with your background here. So, what would you like us to know, first of all, about you, and how did your background get you connected into WayAround?
I've been visually impaired all my life. I had very low vision when I was a kid. As a first grader, if I stuck the first grade book right against my nose, I could read those big letters. By the time I got to fourth grade, I couldn't read anymore. The print had gotten smaller. I discovered talking books about that time, so I continue to be a voracious reader. I went on to high school and college with no accommodations to speak of except having my tests read out loud to me. I was a mediocre student at best with no ability to really read well. I got married. I spent 10 years at home with my two children. When my youngest went to kindergarten, I decided I better go get a degree or I'm going to have nothing to do. Finish my degree anyway. I did that. I went right into my master's degree in rehabilitation counseling psychology, and I have spent the last 34 years as a rehabilitation counselor. First as a vocational evaluator for the Lighthouse for the Blind here in Dallas. Second, as a vocational rehabilitation counselor and assistive technology consultant for the state of Texas Vocational Rehabilitation Services for 15 years. And the last part of my career was with, full-time career, I guess I should say, was with the American Foundation for the Blind at the AFB Center on Vision Loss here in Dallas. When it closed and transitioned over to Envision Dallas, I worked still for another 4 years as the National Independent Living consultant for aging and vision loss, and just fell in love with working with older people. I'm still doing that in peer support group facilitation. While I worked for AFB, I was introduced to the WayAround company by the two creators of the company, Darwin Belt and Armand Fisher, who came to the center and said, "We have this idea. What do you think?" And for about 5 years, I was pseudo consultant to them through my role there at AFB. And then when I left AFB, I went to work for them as Director of Business Development and am helping to introduce WayAround across the country, both the home and office version, which is what I'm going to talk today, but also the public version of WayAround, which a company can install in their building so that when you arrive in their building, you get a geofencing notification that WayAround is present. Would you like to see the tag? And then you know more about that building than the sighted folks who are walking around. And, the tags are anywhere there's an ADA sign, so you can verify, yep, this is really room 103, etc. It's just an amazing service that I believe in 100%.
Absolutely. Well, can you introduce the home use version of WayAround? I'm sure a lot of us have heard about it and know what it is, but for those who are new to the concept of WayAround, what exactly is it and how does it work?
WayAround Tag and Scan is a smartphone app that you use with NFC, near field communication tags created by WayAround, patented, so that you can tag almost anything. I dare you to come up with something, and I'll tell a great story about someone who did just that, and we found a way.
I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, it's a great story, too. But from stickers to buttons to paper clip-like gizmos to a magnet, you can tag anything in your home and office. The stickers come in two versions, round and square. Round goes on anything but metal. Square goes on anything and metal. And you want to put those stickers on something that's going to be permanent, that you're not going to want to throw away when it's empty. Because once you peel it off, although you can still use the tag, and many people just take a piece of tape and tape it on something new and it still works, the adhesive is gone once you peel it off, especially if it's on something like paper that's going to tear a layer off with it. Mm-hmm. There are buttons. This is what I fell in love with. When Darwin and Armin were talking about their creation, I just loved the idea of being able to sew a 2-hole button that's about the size of 2 dimes stacked on top of each other, but it has 2 holes in the middle, just like a shirt button. And you sew it on your clothing, and then you use your app to describe that clothing. And you can be as simple as red polo shirt, or you can be as complicated as red polo shirt, and then through a drop-down template in the app, mark it as dark clothes for washing, sorting, gentle cycle if it's got sequins on it, which some of my polo shirts actually have sequins, Evan. I'm embarrassed to say.
No, it's okay.
It can also have drying instructions, hang to dry, because I really don't want that to shrink, or, tumble dry normal. For people who don't touch a garment and know exactly what it is and how to wash it, it's just amazing. Our other kind of button is a little bit larger. It's about like 2 quarters stacked together, and it has a large oval hole in the middle, about the size of a dried bean. So it's real easy to put a twisty tie through, or a pipe cleaner, also known as Chanel stems, who knew? A safety pin, so you can pin this button on or twist tie it around anything you can imagine. And that gives you the ability to label a bottle that you know you're going to empty as you clean the bathroom or spray Febreze on your carpet or whatever. And you don't have to waste a sticker. You just untwisty tie that button off and put it on the next bottle. The buttons are completely waterproof, dryer proof, and dry cleaner proof. Although I have heard 2 different people who have told me that when they took their garments to the cleaners, the cleaning people clipped the buttons off and handed them all their garments back, all nice and lovely on hangers, and a cup of buttons.
Okay, that would get frustrating.
Which would make me cry right there in the cleaner's lobby. I would have busted out crying. So what I recommend is, if you're going to put it on your sports jackets and on the back of your ties and on your dress slacks, so you know which ones goes with which, when you take them to the cleaners, you tell the cleaners, see this button? Don't
touch it.
don't take it off. It goes there. Leave it alone.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then the paper clips, I find are probably the most versatile of our products. Again, it's about the size of an extra large paper clip, about 3/4 of an inch wide by an inch and a half long, and it's plastic. Half of the top half has a round sticker or a square sticker, and the top is tactile, so you can tell, oh, that's my square way clip, and that's my round way clip. So I would put the round way clip on anything by clipping it with the bottom half that's like a paper clip with two tangs, that you put one tang on one side of, let's say, a file folder, and the other tang on the outside and one on the inside, and it just stands right up there, and there's your tag, easy to get to. You can also put a rubber band, or I like to use hair elastics like the girls and ladies use for their ponytails.
Yeah.
Kind of like a rubber band wrapped in cloth, because regular office supply rubber bands dry out, crumble, and break. So wouldn't you hate to open up a cabinet where you've got 3 or 4 things tagged with rubber bands, and all of a sudden they're all laying on the shelf,
Yeah, totally.
and the rubber bands are all disintegrated around them? Another time I would have tears, real crocodile tears.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, the paper clips are very versatile, and I'll talk you through some of those uses as well. And
Absolutely.
then the magnet is the last kind of tag we have. It's about the size of a postage stamp. I really like it because it is white on one side and black on the other. So if you have low vision and contrast still works for you, you can use that contrast to help you find it. But if you're like me and contrast doesn't help anymore, the magnet is thin enough that it sticks nicely and doesn't like poke up above the can edge or anything. But it's also flexible, and it's tactile material that's really easy to feel. The magnets are for use on metal things, obviously, so they're square, just like the square sticker is for metal and the square way clip is for metal. And they are just perfect for canned goods in the pantry. They're great for like metal shelves out in your garage. You can stick them on the front edge of the shelf, and then that Rubbermaid bin that's sitting there on the shelf. You don't have to pull it down and open it up to know that this is sprinkler system parts or
Christmas stuff. Yeah.
right. So anyway, that's the 7 different kinds of tags: 2 kinds of stickers, 2 kinds of buttons, 2 kinds of clip, and 1 magnet.
That's bloody impressive, I gotta say.
Yeah.
You guys have come a long way, because I remember when I first heard about WayAround like years and years ago. This was back in like the iPhone 8 days. I remember launching with like stickers and the little magnets. So it's really cool to see that you guys have these now way clips. That's a new one I've heard. And it sounds like when I first heard about it, I got the impression that it was just voice labels that were on your phone, but it sounds like you can add all of this extra information. So like, if you have a can of tomato paste, you could have like you could maybe put uses for it or instructions.
That is exactly right. Yes.
You'd have to change it out each time you change the product that the tag's on, but still the fact that you can have access to that information.
Well, and for things that you buy again and again and again, what I do is I take my magnet off the top of my tomato paste can when I'm making spaghetti sauce, and I throw my magnet in a little cup that sits on my countertop. It looks like a water pail from a wishing well, but it's about the
Yep.
size of a coffee cup, cute tchotchke stuff. And I toss my buttons, I toss my magnets, whatever things I've used, and I take the tag off of. And then when I'm making my grocery list, that's what I use to create my grocery list.
That's pretty cool.
And so then when the groceries come home, I either have sighted help, or I use, one of my accessible apps to find out, is this tomato paste? Yeah, that's pretty easy. It's usually that small skinny can, but Campbell's soup is Campbell's soup in a can. So if you have cream of mushroom and you have tomato and you have, I don't know, corn chowder, you kind of want to know the difference in those. And so that's what I find the magnets so helpful for.
Absolutely. Now, I would like to know about this story that you had mentioned as far as
Okay.
somebody saying that they can't use a way around tag for something.
Well, no, he wanted to know if WayAround would help him with his cattle ranch. His father was, retiring. He was getting older, and the son, who is blind, was going to have to take over more of the responsibility on the ranch. And he called my boss up and said, "Can I tag my cows with WayAround?" And the stickers are water resistant. So, if they're on a metal tag on the cow's ear, which all of them have, it's like an earring.
Hmm.
They're on the back of that metal tag, and he can put all of the information about that cow, its birth date, its dam, its sire, its shots, its diseases, its what it's been treated for, anything like that, so that when they're looking at cows, okay, who's going to need to see the vet this month, he can go through his herd and check out his cows and get the right animals where they need to be to see the vet. And then he just updates the tag with the new information that, Sally Sue had her, I don't know, bovine flu shot. I don't even think that's a real thing, but whatever.
It's a thing. We'll make
You
it a
get,
thing.
you get what I mean.
I
That
get the picture. I
yeah,
totally do.
and you mentioned voice labels. It's really not voice labels that WayAround creates. It's text into edit fields. So if you can create a text on your phone, or you can create an email on your phone, you understand opening and closing text fields and moving down through a screen to get to a template that has very simple drop down menus, that type of thing. You can create a way tag, and then your onboard accessibility works with WayAround. So if you're a voiceover user or a talkback user, or you have a blind shell 2 or 3, the voice in that is going to read your tag aloud to you.
That's
If you
awesome.
like low vision accommodations, like larger font or contrast control, that kind of thing, that's what the screen will show. If you're using a refreshable braille display because you're deafblind, or you don't like voiceover or talkback jabbering at you all the time, your way tag is going to pop up on your refreshable braille display, just like other apps do.
That's awesome. And it does answer a question that I was going to ask. Like, so compatibility wise, WayAround, I assume, works on iPhone, Android, and apparently Blind Shell, which is super cool, right?
Yes. Blind Shell 2 and 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, because I know when you guys first launched, before iPhones had standard NFC built in, you had like a whole separate device that would connect to
You
the
do.
phone. Do you guys still
You
offer
won't
that?
believe it, but I had a lady this week. She has an iPhone 6. Yeah, wow, that's 10 years ago or more.
Blows
So,
my mind.
but WayLink, our external device, will allow her to use her iPhone to read her and create her tags. And I use a WayLink in my pantry because I'm an iPhone user, and iPhone restricts the access to the NFC reader, that you have to call it up and say, "I want to read an NFC tag."
Hmm.
To do my canned goods, I have to tap the read button, touch the top of my phone to the can. Green beans.
Oh
No, I
man.
want peaches. Tap the read button, touch the next can. Tap the read button, touch the next can. Do you get how annoying that is?
Very much. It's already like, whoa.
Yeah, with a WayLink, I just turn my WayLink on, tell my WayAround app that I'm using my WayLink now, not my internal NFC, which is the top thing in our settings. Super easy to change. And then I just move the WayLink, which is about the size of a box of Tic Tacs. And it's just like a little rectangle with skinny sides and two flat faces. And it doesn't matter which face you put against the tag, but you touch the top of the kidney beans and it says kidney beans. You touch the next one, it says peaches. You touch the next one, it says, pineapple. And you just go through, and you still have to have your phone close so you can hear it. But on
Right.
the Android and the Blind Shell 2 and 3, you don't have to do that read button. You just turn the WayAround app on and touch the phone to the tag. And when I say touch it to it, I do touch it to it, but within about an inch, it's it's going to
It'll pick
read.
it up.
But
Yeah,
I'm
NFC
not
is
going to
about that
wave
way.
my phone around in midair trying to figure out, am I an inch away? Am I half an inch away? I'm just going to touch it and then boom, it reads.
That is good. I'm very glad to hear that the Waylink still is a product because I heard about that on a demo a few years ago, and I kind of figured, oh man, every iPhone has NFC. They probably don't make these anymore. So I'm glad to see that because I do find it personally annoying holding the left corner of my phone up and trying to ask it to read a tag. I like that's why I liked like the Envision America IDMate scanners because you just boom, 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 and rapid fire scan stuff and figure out what it was super quickly, like a sighted person skims through things.
Yep. And I have a WayLink two places in my house. I have one in my pantry on the shelf where my canned goods are. And if I want to read spices, I just grab it from there. Okay.
Yeah,
And then I have
totally.
one in my closet because when I'm going through my clothing, I sew my buttons on the right side seam down at the hem. So if it's a shirt, it's near my hip. If it's, capris, it's near my knee. If it's a skirt, it's by my calf. If it's slacks, it's down by my ankle. But when they're hanging in the closet, I can just grab that garment, slide my hand down the seam, touch the WayLink to the outside of the garment. The clothing can be between the WayLink and the button,
Yeah.
and it'll still read. And I just go from shirt to shirt to shirt to shirt until I find the color I want.
Well, and usually when you're picking out clothes in the morning, especially if you're me and and at least I take a while to get. I'm bad at procrastinating, and I usually when I get ready, I'm in a bit of a hurry. You can go more quickly, and it'll take less time. It saves you time. Just that simple
right.
little device.
That's right.
Can we talk about pricing real quick?
Yeah.
Like how much are the tags, and then how much is the link?
So the WayLink is about $105, depending on whether you want a belt clip, a carabiner, or no connecting device. I do recommend a connecting device because if you drop it, it's plastic.
It could break. That would
It
suck.
could, just like pen friends used to break. Do you remember how fragile those babies were?
Yeah, they'd crack in half. You could see the circuit. I got to see well, actually, I haven't seen the innards, but I bet you could just drop it. It cracks open like an egg. You get to see the circuit board at least.
When mine does finally fall apart, that's exactly what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what's in there. Because I do still have one, but I'll tell you, I loved my pen friend. I had tags everywhere, just like I do with WayAround now. And I only have it now because I still use it on my essential oil bottles because they're little tiny bottles.
Right.
And pen friend came with little tiny round stickers that go right on the top of those buttons, or those bottles, sorry.
But you can only do recordings. You can only do a voice
I can,
recording.
but all I have to say is eucalyptus, peppermint,
Lemongrass,
it's
any
not.
of that.
I'm not recording like I used to, and that was something I love about WayAround is that when I used to record recipes or instructions, like for Jiffy corn muffin mix, one egg,
metadata.
1/3 cup milk, stir gently, do not overstir, bake at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. All I wanted to know was the degrees I needed to set the oven to so I could get started. And I had to listen to that whole recording with PenFriend. With WayAround, I just swipe, 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 and I'm to it, It's
Yeah.
it's more efficient in my opinion. But
Yeah, more efficient, more data, and it's. I think they're easier to. I feel like they're easier to update too, because PenFriend's recordings are a little funky to update.
they are. You have to re-record the whole thing. And if it's long and complicated,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't bother.
With WayAround to edit a way tag, what you have in your phone, you just tap the existing tag. It says tomato paste, and let's say you've just figured out that you really like grandma's spaghetti sauce with 3 tomato pastes instead of 2. It's thicker. You like it better.
Yeah, right.
So I use a custom edit field or if I already have one that says use 2 in grandma's, I just didn't go into that edit. I hit the edit button, go into that field and edit the 2 from a 3, just like I would in a document or a text.
Well, goodness, it sounds like we're going to have to get our hands on some WayAround tags and do some BLT Byte demos of this because it has a lot going for it. Let's just say that. And I feel like a lot of what we talked about really could be thrown into a demo. But all this talk about food, honestly, is kind of making me hungry, and it's just about lunchtime. And it's also just about
Sandwich of the week
time as well. We were talking about sandwiches earlier, and have I done an ice cream sandwich yet? I don't know. My sandwich this week is actually going to be an ice cream cookie, the chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwiches. I think you can get these at Costco because you can get like the bog standard, like rectangular, good old ice cream sandwiches with graham crackers, but you can get ones that are, made with full-on chocolate chip cookies or M&M cookies and usually vanilla or chocolate ice cream, and they are absolutely delicious. Neva, though, do you have a sandwich of the week for us?
I do. My favorite deli sandwich is the New York style sub with pastrami, salami, provolone, and ham. I absolutely adore that sandwich. I eat one pretty much every week.
That's delicious. I love I love those sandwiches. Yum. Mm-hmm. Well, we haven't even scratched the surface on WayAround in the use of public spaces because we're at the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 on WayAround in public spaces, and stay tuned for more BLT Bites, and also more coverage on the Talking Book Library and the National Library Service. There's a lot coming down the pipe. I think we're finally getting out of this really quiet, really dull BLT season here. At least I think it's dull, but I'm the producer of the show, so I have my own standards and biases, so whatever. That being said, if you like the show, dislike it, or have any feedback for me or for any of our other podcasts and their hosts, go ahead and send us an email. Send us an email at feedback@aftersight.org or call 720-712-8856. In any event, I'd like to thank you for joining us for part 1. And stay tuned for part 2 of WayAround in Public Spaces coming next week. Take care, don't forget to plug in your devices, and I will talk to you all later.